In this presentation, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. We're going to talk about what emotional intelligence is, how our brains work, how we sometimes can be hijacked emotionally, how we manage those situations, why emotional intelligence matters, and how we can be more intelligent people. There are three types of intelligence. General intelligence is about how we learn and how we think. It's sometimes included in education. Technical intelligence is knowing how things work, being able to build things, and being creative. Emotional intelligence is understanding yourself, managing your emotions, and functioning in the world. In your workbooks, you have space to identify 2 or 3 people that you think are smart or successful. Identify the qualities they show that make you think they are successful or smart. Now let's take a look at some of the qualities you've indicated for each type of intelligence. General intelligence is generally shown by how well people learn to read, do math, or memorize things. Sometimes we call it book smarts. Technical intelligence is often shown by how well people can understand and demonstrate how equipment works, how building things work, or how to create something new. Emotional intelligence is demonstrated by how well people know and manage their emotions and how they react to situations. Sometimes we say people with emotional intelligence can adapt to people and situations positively. What makes someone smart? Researchers looked at the same 3 areas we just discussed and asked, how does each category or intelligence type contribute to a person's overall success? What they found is that there's more than one way to be smart, and that emotional intelligence is even more important to personal and professional success than either general intelligence or technical intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about what happens in our brain and body when we're under pressure and how that reaction helps us or holds us back. We define success in others and ourselves by how well we manage our emotions and how we handle interactions with other people. Have you ever experienced a situation where you mentally froze, but a few minutes later you thought of all the great things you should have said? Have you ever been in a situation where you snapped at someone or lost your cool, even though you knew it probably would make things worse? Have you ever met someone who was supposed to be really, really smart, but found they were awkward socially? Well, sometimes these things happen because our brains are wired that way. Everything starts with the brain. For example, imagine driving to work on a road covered in ice and suddenly hitting a slippery spot where your car spins out of control. What happens? You might feel short of breath, have sweaty palms, might even hit the brakes or swerve uncontrollably. This is because your brain is at work. The brainstem is like our autopilot. It does many things for us automatically so we don't have to think about them. Things like breathing, blinking. Can you imagine if you had to wake yourself up every night to remember to breathe, or if you had to make your heart beat? The neocortex is the largest part of the brain. It looks like a big cap of gray matter in pictures or slides. It's where we do important tasks like solving problems, thinking logically, and being creative. The neocortex is where general intelligence and working memory happen. For example, what's 2 times 2? 4. What does the word appetite mean? These things represent your working memory. You learn these things by repeating them and getting feedback, and then you can remember them and recall them when you need to. The limbic system is the emotional part of the brain. Within the limbic system is the amygdala. Amygdala is a Greek word that means almond, so this almond-shaped part of the brain is called the amygdala. It also can make us seem a little crazy or nutty sometimes. The amygdala is where emotional memories are stored. Emotional memory is different from working memory. For example, when I was a child, a rooster attacked me when I went into the hen house to collect eggs for my grandmother. The rooster pecked at my heels and caused small cuts that bled. Now, whenever I see a rooster on a farm, I feel scared. That's emotional memory causing an emotional response. Emotional memory and emotional learning are very powerful. The amygdala quickly creates new pathways in the brain during significant emotional events. These events can change the way we see the world. Traumatic experiences, events like 9/11 are examples of this. Most people can remember details about 9/11, even though it happened years ago, but they might not remember what they had for dinner last Wednesday. The amygdala helps us answer critical questions for our survival. Should I fight or run? Should I eat it or will it eat me? Am I the hunter or the hunted? Let's see what happens when our flight or fight response is triggered. Think about that time when you almost had an accident on an icy road. You skidded a little over the center line before regaining control of your car. In that moment, your amygdala reacted instantly. You might have felt clammy skin, heard a rushing sound in your ears, your heart probably started pounding, and your limbs felt weak. When danger is detected, the amygdala immediately releases chemicals into the neocortex that make us less able to think clearly. We call this the amygdala hijack. We don't have time to reason and make decisions like which way to swerve or how hard to press the brake pedal. Our breathing, heart rate, and reflexes all increase. Blood rushes to our big muscles to prepare us for fighting or running away. Our reflexes take over and we react. A stress hormone is released into our bloodstream. If we are exposed to these chemicals for a long period of time, it's harmful to our bodies. It takes about 18 minutes for these chemicals to leave the neocortex and about 3 or 4 hours for all of them to clear from our bloodstream. Think about how you feel at the end of a stressful, tough day. What happens when we get hijacked? Well, our brains take over. Sometimes it's helpful to be hijacked. It can help us survive in life or death situations, like when we have close calls on the road. But there are times when we find ourselves getting emotionally hijacked, even when it's not a life or death situation. Our brains react the same way. So in one situation, our brain is helping us, and in the other, it might be working against us. Our brains react automatically to events. However, new events are neutral. Our reaction to them can sometimes be a safety valve, and sometimes it can be emotionally working against us. Let's take a look at a situation where it is necessary to manage emotions. Sam stops at the store on the way home for some items he needs. He has purchased his items, and as he walks back to his car, he sees someone in a huge truck back into his car. His son is in the car, so he is immediately shaken. His amygdala has kicked into action. The driver stops and gets out to inspect the damage. Sam runs to the car to see if his son is all right. Once he realizes that his son has not been injured, Sam is shaken, but after a few seconds he's able to rationally talk to the other driver. Sam is effectively managing his emotions or showing emotional intelligence here. So why do we care about all this? Well, emotional intelligence impacts our friendships, it impacts our relationships, our marriages, it can affect our job performance, and it can affect our children's emotions and their performance. People who are emotionally intelligent are generally more calm, they are relaxed, they feel successful, they're confident, and they're easier to be around than people who don't have emotional intelligence. Low emotional intelligence can be seen through many kinds of behaviors. Being insensitive, for example, a parent yelling at a child for spilling milk, or getting angry at a friend who's 10 minutes late for an appointment. Having outbursts of anger or frustration when it's really not appropriate. blaming others for problems or situations that arise, struggles in relationships from not being able to talk about things, getting angry, um, just shutting down in some situations, or overreacting to very small matters. Let's dive into two important aspects of emotional intelligence. That is self-awareness and self-management by looking at a couple of examples. Alex often says things that hurt other people's feelings without realizing it. He doesn't mean to be insensitive, but he doesn't understand how his words affect others. Alex is unaware that he causes people to feel bad by his critical comments. He lacks self-awareness. Emily has a hard time controlling her anger. Whenever things didn't go her way, she would have big outbursts of anger or frustration. It was difficult for her to stay calm and think before reacting. One day, a friend told her that her outbursts were causing problems in their relationship. It was hard for friends and family to be around her. Emily wanted to change and find better ways to handle her emotions. She found a class on emotional intelligence to help her understand why she had such outbursts. She gained self-awareness and is now working on self-management. We have identified 5 self-awareness strategies. Number 1, stop treating your feelings as good or bad. Earlier we talked about how events are neutral. That can help you stop treating everything you think about or feel as good or bad. Know and label your own emotions is the second point. Know when something is triggering your emotions, and it's okay to give it an internal label. 3, lean into your discomfort. When you feel a little uncomfortable in a situation, push forward by saying, what is it that's making me feel uncomfortable? How can I push through this and deal with the situation? 4, know who and what pushes your buttons. We all have those things that we just react to, and we have people who know how to push our buttons. We need to be aware of those situations. And 5, get to know yourself under stress. Where do you go when you feel stressed? Do you go to anger? Do you go to sadness? Do you shut down? Do you yell? Really think about how you react to stressful situations. 5 self-management strategies that I want to talk about. First of all, take control of your self-talk. Do you talk negatively about yourself to yourself? You can change that. Make an effort to talk positively about yourself. Be happy. Think of yourself as successful. Think of yourself as being able to handle any kind of situation. God made you perfectly, and He wants you to succeed. Second, count to 10 or sleep on it. This is all about when you are hijacked by your amygdala and you are emotional. Maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're angry, maybe you're scared, but count to 10 or take a time away and decide that you're going to solve the problem the next day. It's okay. You don't have to address everything right in the moment. Give yourself space. Part of that is 3, setting aside time each day for problem solving. Decide that you're going to solve a problem that you have at work at the end of the day while you're driving home so that the next day you come refreshed with a solution. Or that when you wake up in the morning, you're going to pray about the situation and come up with a solution that's best for you and the other person maybe that you're having a problem with. 4, visualize yourself succeeding. Look at yourself and say, I am successful. I can push through this problem that I have with my coworker. I can listen to them and I can respond in a positive way and help generate success. And finally, put a mental recharge time into your schedule. It might be taking time to go out to the backyard and just sit and listen to the birds for a few minutes. It might be taking a bubble bath and giving yourself space from your family. It might be finding a quiet corner and reading. Whatever it is, you need time to recharge. So I hope you've learned some things about emotional intelligence that will help you as you go through your life. Emotional intelligence is the most important and influential of all the types of intelligence that we have, and it's manageable. We do have that amygdala, which can hijack us, but we have strategies to manage that. And I hope you will set a goal for yourself to increase your emotional intelligence in an area or two areas that you think you need some help. Set a goal, identify the strategies that you need to work on. It might be self-awareness and it might be self-management, but work on those over the next 2 months and then tell someone that you trust to give you feedback on how you're doing with your emotional intelligence. I wish you well. Thanks.